Hello everybody and welcome back to my China versus Ethiopia series. Things are kicking off in relatively full swing at this point, so we are finally getting the National College up. We'll have one of these workers come over. I don't see why not. I forget how long the Declaration of Friendship goes, but it's going to be a long time before we want their capital. Okay. Oh, you know what? I shouldn't have skipped past that screen. Some of those lists aren't very useful, but seeing where everybody's gold's at would be pretty nice, actually. So, let's see. He's going to be coming over here. Just go ahead and check for safety. Yep. Okay. I didn't want to dangle the worker out here, and I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. We already had this guy heading up to here, and he's the scout, so he can just travel over there, no problem. And this guy would have been coming over here to relieve the warrior to come back and become a swordsman and join in. Here we gotta do a farm, and then we'll do a lumber mill here. Once that's finished, we just don't have the tech for it right now. These guys are gonna be healing up. He's fine there. Actually, if they gotta be moving, we want somebody to kind of keep an eye over here if possible. Spearman's coming out in 3 turns. We could have this guy start heading over there. It'd take a few turns, but he's not doing anything else, so why not? Okay, Great General can come help over here, although totally unnecessary. One of these workers will come start the road, and this one will come over the river to start chopping to expedite the National College. So, alrighty, scouting. We take a step in, get a look at the actual city tile. More silver. Did he have silver already? No, he actually had gold, so seems a bit far for him to have settled, but it also looks like maybe he's got another city up here. How many cities does he have anyways? 5. Oh, wow. Okay, well, he'll be a contender later on, probably. And he's just keeping an eye where the trade route's going. Eventually, we'll just drop a city right there. This is technically a weak spot in our empire. Not because we have a trade route running through here, but just because it's a place that otherwise Barb Camp could spawn. Another religion founded, that's not good. How many religions are left? Yeah, there's just one left, and we're still 6 turns away. Ay, 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 maybe we should have built a shrine. That would be unfortunate. Alright, he's coming down here. He's starting the roads. And he's coming up here to help this. I'll just keep the warrior here to defend this guy. Let's see, 1, 2, 1 and shoot. 1, 2, and then 1 and block. Yep. And with the Great General behind, that should be able to influence that. We probably don't even need to get the warrior involved. Although I also see no reason not to. Might as well just come up on the hill, because we can make it across the river next turn either way. And this way he can kind of hang back in case things change when we pass the turn. Gosh, I'd really hate to miss out on that great profit. We only spent the money. I mean, I guess it was to keep the happiness for a little while longer, but also the faith. So that would be very unfortunate if we missed out on that. Guangzhou grows to 6. We're still going to work maximum growth for now. Once we get to 7 pop, we'll kind of be forced to grow a little bit more production, and that'll be fine. Finally, this guy's got more than 1 gold, and he is willing to give us that, so that's nice. Get that gold up there. That's chopped down, so whatever we build next will be expedited. Get those horses up, but I want to check 8 turns. Well, it's not going to be that because the monument's coming up next turn. Actually, you know what? With this spearman coming here, this warrior is freed up because they're not going to put a worker here when we're on the hill. So I'll just have him come over here. It's a good thing I kept this guy back. So he'll be able to shoot next turn. Oops. Hey, there we go. So we'll have to remember to move the Great General first. That way he gets the benefit of being within radius. Chop that down. Heal, heal, heal. He can actually start heading over here, I suppose. Or somewhere. He's pretty much healed up. Let's go ahead and get back to visibility. Can't hurt anything. He'll come over and keep an eye over here. When we go to make our push, we want to make sure you leave a residual force here and here. Because of the way our borders have grown, we've actually got pretty good visibility. I don't think Nebuchadnezzar's coming for us. It doesn't seem to be any reason to. I'm actually not all that familiar with his AI attitude, so that might be a surprise for me if he turns out to be really aggressive. Panama City desires Oracle. Okay, so like I'm kind of surprised that's even an option, but okay. We'd get a free policy right away and +3 culture. You know, that's kind of interesting because we could use our great person to be a great engineer, rush the Oracle. That would actually lead to food in all of our cities. Assuming we even get a great profit, that's not a guarantee at all. It's 5 turns to go. And that's after this is built, so that's probably accurate. If we choose a great engineer to rush Oracle, though, it would be in the middle of this, obviously. We'd be missing out on an academy tile. Academy tile would actually be a big boost to science right now, and then the National College multiplier on top of that. So I don't think it would be worth it. It's just, it is kind of tempting though, right? Because we'd get the free policy right away, and that would actually make up for the fact that we went this route. And then, you know, because we'd be getting extra culture, we've got this reduction. We could get down the left side of honor pretty quick, actually. That would come at the expense of science. Kind of, because if we do get the great profit, like we'll be allies here, so all of our cities will be growing. And of course, once the National College is done, we can just plop a settler there. Then again, there's happiness to think about, so yeah, that's not very clear to me. Monument is done. We're a turn away from being able to build a Coliseum, which I think would be the next build. I think I will pre-build a granary just because this was a late development. And you might be thinking 1, 2, 3, eventually 4 tiles to work. We'll get to 4 pop pretty quick. And that's true, but then shortly after that, like, universities will start becoming a thing and whatnot. Plus, if we get the marble, it would be nice to be able to work the gold. And with the deer. Yeah, with the deer tile and a granary. So we'll pre-build a granary here, but we'll change that next turn. Also, next turn, I think it would be worth moving the worker, since happiness is kind of becoming an issue. Let's develop the sugar before the horses. And then, of course, we could be able to step over here, I think. Golden Age is finished. However, we made some gold sacrifices, so I'm kind of tempted to keep working this configuration for the time being. Yeah, that's all the other gold tiles are just naturally our thing. Actually, once we go to this one, we could work that instead of the horse. I don't know. Because until the horse has 2 hammers, it could be argued that the 3 gold. We just basically need this number to get to around like 640 to pay for 4 of these and 4 of these, I think. Just thinking out loud here. This is a conundrum, though. We kind of have to figure this out now, right? Because if we're not going to have an academy, we might want the city to just grow, grow, grow at all costs. But at the same time, if I'm not mistaken, it's Friend Maritime is food in the capital, and ally as food in all cities, and I think that adds on top of the food that already is going to the capital. So I think it's double food in the capital. That is something to consider. Alright, Spearman is done here. Let's see, when this city's done building its Spearman, Coliseums will be available, so that's something I'm going to want to do. We know he's going to build a farm for when we get to 5 pop, which is very soon. I think my ultimate goal is to build barracks here and then put out a scout to kind of like take a peek over here. Might even need it for like standing here so we can see the city. Well, we're not going to have archers that have long range yet, so that was scratch that thought. I'm just wondering, do we have time to fit in a warrior before that? Because here we're gonna build a coliseum, and while that's being built, we'll be researching the swordsman or the ironworking, and then we'll go to drama and poetry. So, what would we build here in the meantime? I mean, coliseum. I don't know how long that would take in this city. We don't really need anything else from this city. Capital, obviously, National College, then a settler. We could do a circus, Coliseum. That's the word I was looking for. So, part of me wants to just build a warrior here to get us up to 4 of them, and part of me wants to build a barracks into a scout. We'd be skipping Coliseum in this city for a minute. Let's see what it would cost. 4 on the warrior, 8 on the barracks. That's 12. Scout 1. Now, these numbers aren't accurate. This is the spillover from the logging here. Which, to be fair, once that farm's up, we could log here. Yeah, because he just started, so come here, log. Of course, if we grow to here, we're going to want the farm here before here, but we could still log to expedite all this. So let's just do this. We'll get the warrior out. This warrior's coming up here to protect that. And he's just going to back off here. And another spearman coming out in a few turns. Alright, so it might be about time to start getting everybody huddled up. I kind of wanted to come here to uncover that and then come here, but I guess we'll leave 1 hex behind. Okay, we found a new city-state. So I actually should be thanking these guys for the diversion, because I might not have met them otherwise. He can just come over here. We'll move the warrior over here and the spearman here. When we go to push forward, I kind of want the spearmen. I don't know how many we're going to be taking, but it's mostly going to be swordsmen. But we do want a spearman or 2 in case he's got horsemen. Alright, so this is here, and that way when we step here we can shoot. Doesn't look like anything else has been spawned. Alright, so I don't see any reason not to bring the warrior over here. We'll almost certainly kill that in 2 turns. We just got to keep in mind the warrior is not under the influence of the Great General. And since... oh, actually, you know what? This was the turn we were going to change things? No, next turn. Okay. 2 turns until border growth. Okay, I just didn't want to forget about that. In fact, I'll highlight it now so that when we pass the turn, it'll be... I believe we got embassy as part of the deal, so this is just free money. I've gotten to the point where I actually turned down that deal because I just end up having to buy one back from them. Just wait till we can trade, but that's not the case here. So, now that this has happened, we're going to move this here, and we are actually going to favor a Coliseum ahead of the granary. You know, if I had done the horses ahead of the stone, then I could have been doing a circus starting last turn. And that would have been cheaper and free. So maybe that should have been the way I did that. Alternatively, the path would have been from here to here, hop over here to do this, hop back over here, and then we'll be away from the cattle. So this might be a little more focused, I guess. I don't like that he said go on. Does that mean he's upset? Apparently not, because he's willing to pay full price. So, gonna go with iron working. We should have the profit by then, assuming we can. So the fact that, I mean, this is borrowed iron, we should still have it. Actually, now that that worker is away, we can actually move the Great General there so that all of our units. And we would want the warrior to be able to come into the borders quicker, since he's the one that's actually going to be leaving the area. The spearman's going to stick around. And now that that's happened, we can actually move him back. He's probably going to be cleared to go. Alright, so then we'll move here and have a lumber mill up right around the time we actually grow there. Okay, 11 turns to 10. It might not seem like much, but every little bit helps. The real question is going to be that great engineer for Oracle. Is it worth it or not? It does get us great scientist points right now, right? So, I can't call it. Like, on the one hand, this game has kind of been about pleasing city-states and to some good effect. That might be taking it too far. On the other hand, this city's just not growing. And of course, the overall growth means overall science. We could definitely use the food here. Here, whatever. We're about to stash a couple people away into specialist slots. And of course, increased food in the capital will be something of a godsend. So, it is very tempting. I honestly don't know which would be the way to go. I'll just heal him since he's not actually full and there's no reason. We're just going to start piling everybody up. Oh, that looks like city-state border to me. So let's step up here. And it is. And he's in our way, so we'll come here. Probably have to trespass, but for maximum visibility, I ain't against it. It's just a question of where. More iron is desired. That's going to be the last of our natural iron, so hopefully you can pay full price for it. We can't see this hex, but I still think coming here just gives us better options. Alright, so that sugar is available. Right now the 2 gold is not worth the 1 hammer, even though we could definitely use the gold. He gets a promotion. Nice. We will heal him up. This is my scouty type, so we should be able to step and do that. You know what? I wasn't upgrading my archers last turn, so that was a mistake on my part. We'll do that. Actually, before I forget, this guy's about ready to finish his tile of road. Speaking of which, if I remember correctly, yeah, 1 turn until border growth. So I'm just going to stash him in the swamp. And that way, if we grow to here, he can start clearing. If we grow to here, he can do the cattle, and he can come over and pre-build roads the rest of the way. We're actually at a point where the extra worker would only really be necessary for building roads for war. Did I ignore this? I did. Okay, let's take care of that. Bratislava needs a new natural wonder. We're almost sure to find one eventually. So he's just going to sit tight for visibility. We'll just step back to do that. And then he can come relieve this guy. We'll have him step forward and then upgrade. Whoops, what did I just do? Wake him up. Upgrade him, that's what I was trying to say. I don't know what I actually clicked on, but... Okay, and then the iron before we pass. He does have 2 gold, and he is still giving it to us. I almost spoke before I figured it out. Alrighty. Okay, so we did get the cattle. That's the better tile for now. Which means we'll switch him over to pasture, and we'll have him come over to finish pre-building roads. Once he's done with the lumber mill, he can do this tile, and then the 3 of them can kind of get it all wrapped up in just a few turns. What did it say about Budapest? 68. Okay, it didn't say we're about to lose them, so that's good. Okay, so let's build that Colosseum. It's going to take 14 turns, which is actually something of a relief, because that means afterwards we'll go straight into the Writers Guild. So that kind of answered my question as to what will we build there. That's what. Alrighty. We're still going to keep him around 1 more turn just in case this is the turn they put out a worker. Should be able to come through here. We see a camp and we see an unprotected barbarian worker. What's that about? Alright, warriors done here. Let's definitely build barracks. It's going to take 9 turns and then 3 with the scout. Of course, chopping down this forest in the meantime should be able to chop a couple turns off of that. So, yeah. Let's see, where would we heal him up? He's basically heading over here. There's no reason why we can't heal him up right there. We'll just have the spearman come onto the reptile. He can start heading over there. Alright, so we'll put the spearman between the warriors. Actually, you know what? With us putting more and more units over here, I don't want anybody outside of our borders because I don't want him saying, hey, what are you doing? And then we gotta lie. So I will back him out next turn. We kind of want the scouty type to be leading the back charge as far as the archers go. So maybe scout comes back here, 2 come here, 1 come here. This would be the ideal configuration. Maybe a couple warriors coming here and here. A couple spearmen coming through here. I don't know. Something along those lines. That's going to be the hard part, I think, is coordinating all those units, having to trip over all that rough and whatnot. Not looking forward to those decisions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's everybody. He doesn't have any extra. We're about to get a sugar there, and then the one we're selling off comes back in 10 turns. So we basically have 10 turns to find somebody to trade that away to for increased happiness, hopefully. He can come over here. He'll be the new Guangzhou spearman. Look at this. Free money and the Inca. We're going to return it. Not only are we far away, but we're about to wage war against the entire world. So any sort of like brownie points we can gather up will be beneficial. Alright, he's pre-building roads. That guy's done with that farm. Alright. So yeah, let's move. We'll back him up. We'll just back him up. There we go. Now we don't have... We give up a little bit of visibility, but under the circumstances, I think that's okay. Alright, so it's time to start clearing out of here. Yeah, the trade route's going to be exposed, but sometimes that's the way it goes. Heal up one more turn. Alright, so these guys can swap out. He's going to head over here so he can upgrade. And that's everything, right? Yep, off we go. Running pretty smooth. I'm not looking forward to that great person decision, though. Looks like we're ready to get a great profit. And there we go. May adopt policy. Alright, so this is going to be great for our happiness. We gain 2 right now, and as we drop more roads, that will only get better. Okay, he's up to composite bowman. Not really scary, but something to keep in mind. Come in here, over here. Might as well stay even with the roads. Although now that I think about it, the warrior's going to want to come there, so... The fact that he's got no penalty means he can come here and still get the full 4. And there we go. Happiness is good. And like I said, we've got so many turns to figure out. See if we can find somebody to trade that to. I'm just going to leave the spearman here. This is our extremity, and we do have a tile improvement to protect. So there's that. Alright. Caravan is finished. That would have been the one going up to Kathmandu. And right now we do not have any city-states looking for trade routes. And obviously we can't send one to Ethiopia. So what does that leave us with? Guangzhou to Warsaw. Nice science boost and a good amount of money on top of that. So that is very tempting. One definite problem is that obviously there's a lot of darkness here. And then one lesser potential, I shouldn't say lesser, but one not a guaranteed problem, but possibly a problem is if we go to attack Poland within the time span of that. And I honestly don't know if that's going to be the case, right? Like, once we start pushing in, I'm sure he's going to have some units. Let's see what that looks like, actually. We'll check info addict. Military. We are here, and Ethiopia is here. And they haven't changed much over the years, so they're probably not putting too much into military. I'm thinking like once we get past their units, the city itself will fall very quickly. We'll have a Chinese great general, which is more effective, and he's on flatland. No walls yet. It's just a matter of the clunkiness of the terrain and the fact that there's water. So it's going to be kind of like a little bit of a resistance, but once it falls, it's going to fall hard. But we still have a few turns to get all that coordinated, and then the amount of turns it takes to actually get there, do all the fighting, taking the city, then moving back, moving over here. But really, what's the alternative? It's a good source of science right now at a time we've been a little bit lacking, and we are considering giving up the great Panama City. We can attribute them, but obviously we're not going to. They would cancel their requests, and we would really be hosed. Especially while we're considering this. Alright. So, he's going to chop that down. I'm not so sure what this Persian scout is doing over here. Maybe that's how he figured out. So yeah, let's go ahead and send it to Guangzhou with the intent of sending it to Warsaw. Okay. We're almost ready to start getting organized for the push. So the scout's going to be the one that comes from over here, which means this would be one of the ones coming through here or down here. So maybe it'd be time for him. Oh yeah, plus we don't even have the trade right going through there now, so yeah, that's that. Alrighty, scouting continues. See a hill here. And unfortunately, I see a mountain range and a hill here and border, so we need to hope we can get through that. Alright, that's everybody's movement. I really hate to leave on this note, because I kind of want to see if we get the great profit or not. Not that I would use this for a great profit just to satisfy these. Because if we quote-unquote waste this for the purpose of getting Oracle, not only would we get a lot of food for a while, but we would also have the actual culture, the free policy. So it is a trade-up. But we are close enough to the half-hour mark that I want to end it here. I want to see what your guys' thoughts on this great person. Because we can drop an academy here, have the instant 8 science, in a few turns we'd have that being multiplied by 50%. That's pretty awesome, right? Versus this. I think I'm probably getting carried away with the whole great person, but it is kind of tempting. So let me know what you guys would think. Maybe I'm, off my rocker to even consider it. And so please do let me know. I hope you've enjoyed this segment. We're kind of just getting everything set up, really. So I think the exciting stuff's about to come. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.